That sentence should not exist. I know because I erased it myself. 3 times. Yet every military archive in the coalition restored it before the next cycle, as if reality refused to let the record disappear. I was there. I witnessed it. I still do not understand it. My designation is Observer Kale 7 of the Varithi Consensus. We do not fight. We calculate. Every battle is a perfect equation. Every victory belongs to probability. Emotion is a mathematical disease. Humans were supposed to prove that. Instead, they infected the galaxy with impossibility. It began over the ash world of Vasca 9. Nothing valuable remained there. Only broken cities, burned oceans, iron mountains. The perfect place for 2 fleets to destroy each other without disturbing civilized space. The coalition assembled 47 war groups. Our enemy brought 51. Their advantage was measurable. Victory belonged to them. It was already calculated. Then the humans arrived. Late. Only 1 cruiser, 1 damaged escort, and 1 training carrier carrying cadets. Cadets. The youngest. The weakest. The least experienced. The coalition commanders laughed across every tactical frequency. Even I agreed. Training vessels never survive fleet engagements. They exist to observe, not to change history. The human commander requested permission to reinforce the front. Permission denied. She was too inexperienced, too valuable to waste. She obeyed. Or so everyone believed. Humans always obey first. That was the pattern. Every report confirmed it. They accepted orders. Then they adapted quietly. I believed adaptation had limits. I was wrong before the battle even began. The enemy opened fire. Thousands of plasma lances crossed the void. Coalition destroyée disappeared. Entire formations vanished in white explosions. Probability corrected itself. Exactly as expected. Then the cadet carrier accelerated. Straight toward the center. No escort. No protection. No tactical sensa. Coalition Admiral chuted. Return immediately. Negative. Retreat. Negative. Stand down. Silence. I assumed their communications had failed. Machines fail. Living minds panic. Either explanation fit known science. Neither was correct. The carrier entered the crossfire. Its shields collapsed instantly. Armor peeled away like frozen leaves. Fire consumed entire decks, yet never slowed. Human ships, I concluded, must require momentum to surrender. Perhaps they feared stopping. Perhaps motion itself was sacred. My conclusion satisfied every available observation. It was completely wrong. The enemy ignored the carrier. Why waste ammunition on students? Instead, they concentrated on our battleships. A rational decision. Until the cadets reached artillery range. Every weapon remained silent. Exactly as expected. Training ammunition. Training crews. Training officers. No threat. One coalition admiral even joked that the humans were searching for the classroom. Several species transmitted amusement chemicals simultaneously. I recorded their laughter. I still possess those recordings. Sometimes I replay them. Not because they are amusing, because of how suddenly they stop. A single cannon rotated. Old. Oversized. Primitive. Its barrel exceeded the length of the carrier itself. Impossible. Training vessels never carried siege cannons. Fleet registries confirmed that. Sensor scans confirmed that. Visual confirmation contradicted both. I blamed our scanners. Reality could not be incorrect. The human transmission arrived seconds later. It contained only one voice. Young. Calm. Almost bored. Permission to fire. No answer came. Perhaps command refused. Perhaps communications failed. Perhaps humans required ceremonial approval before self-destruction. Again, I reached the wrong conclusion. The cannon fired anyway. Not toward the enemy flagship. Toward empty space. Every coalition officer expressed confusion, including me. The projectile disappeared into darkness. Missed. An embarrassing mistake. Exactly what cadets were expected to do. The human carrier immediately turned away. Retreat. Finally, the pattern had returned. Umanza tamta kouraja. Failed. Now they fled. I updated my analysis. Human bravery possesses strict endurance limits. Another incorrect conclusion. 17 seconds later, space folded. Not near the projectile. Behind the enemy fleet. Gravity screamed. Stars bent. 3 enemy battle groups vanished. Not destroyed. Gone. Every sensor reported empty vacuum. Ships. Crew. Signals. Heat. Mass. Nothing remained. The projectile had not missed. It had struck reality itself. Coalition scientists rejected the data instantly. So did I. Weapons cannot arrive before their own trajectory finishes. Space cannot bleed. Distance cannot become a weapon. Yet the battlefield no longer followed mathematics. Enemy formations broke. Command ships collided. Escape vectors intersected. Perfect strategy dissolved into instinct. Humans call it panic. We call it impossible geometry. The cadet carrier did not celebrate. It continued burning. Hull sections drifted away. Life signs vanished deck by deck. Still it advanced again. Again. Always forward. I developed another theory. Humans measured victory through sacrifice. The more they lost, the stronger they believed themselves. Primitive. Wasteful. Predictable. That belief comforted me, because predictable enemies can always be defeated. Then I saw her. Magnification identified the human responsible for the cannon. Designation. Cadet Mira Solis. Age analysis indicated extreme youth. Her uniform was burned. One arm hung motionless. Blood covered the firing controls. Human blood. Bright. Abundant. She should have entered medical care immediately. Instead, she loaded another shell. Impossible. Heavy siege ammunition required 12 crew members. She worked alone. I assumed humans possess temporary muscle amplification during stress. Biology often surprises us. Again. Wrong. She was not stronger. She simply ignored failure. There is no equation for that. Enemy command finally recognized the threat. Thousands of weapons targeted the cadet carrier simultaneously. Every tactical computer predicted destruction. Probability reached absolute certainty. 100%. No exceptions. I relaxed. Mathematics had returned. Then the human smiled. Not proudly. Not confidently. Almost gratefully. I searched our biological database. Predators smile before feeding. Victims never smile before death. Humans apparently belonged to neither category. The second shell entered the chamber. Power readings climbed beyond safe limits. Alarms echoed across every fleet. Even distant observers received emergency warnings. The cannon itself was failing. The ship was failing. The cadet should have evacuated. She remained seated. One engineer screamed across open frequencies. "The recoil will kill you." For the first time, the cadet answered, "I know." She pressed the firing switch, and every calculation I had ever trusted stopped making sense. The cannon fired. Silence came first. Not the silence between explosions. Not the silence of vacuum. Something deeper. Even our sensors stopped reporting. For one impossible heartbeat, the battlefield ceased to exist. Then reality returned. The shell did not glow. It did not accelerate. It simply appeared everywhere along its path at once. Enemy cruisers split open without impact. Armor unraveled into clouds of glowing dust. Shields remained active around ships that no longer existed. I stared at the tactical display. The display refused to update. Its predictions crashed. Every probability branch ended with the same impossible symbol. Undefined. That symbol had never appeared in military history. The shell reached the enemy flagship. It did not explode. The flagship bent. Its bow faced tomorrow. Its engines remained yesterday. The center simply disappeared. Millions of tons folded inward before dissolving into light. The flagship was gone. No debris. No radiation. Only empty space. Every enemy formation froze. Our coalition commanders erupted in celebration. They believed the battle was won. So did I. That was my greatest mistake. The enemy was not retreating. They were making room. Deep beyond the battlefield, something answered. At first, I believed it was a sensor malfunction. A shadow larger than moons. No engines. No weapons. No visible structure. Just movement. Slow. Patient. Hungry. Every ancient archive described creatures that lived between stars. No living civilization believed those stories. Until that moment. The human shell had torn more than enemy armor. It had wounded space itself. Something noticed. Coalition commandée demandait explanation. Scientists argued. Priests transmitted prayers. No answer mattered. The shadow kept growing. Enemy fleets fled first. Not because they feared us, because they recognized it. Thousands of ships abandoned perfect formations. Discipline vanished. Veteran admirals screamed over open channels. Run. One word. No strategy. No pride. Only survival. I finally understood. The enemy had never feared the human weapon. They feared what happened after it fired. The shadow opened an eye. At least. That is the closest human word. It was larger than continents. Inside it swirled entire star systems. Every sensor pointed somewhere different. Every observer described another shape. My own vision fractured. For a moment I saw my birth. Then my death. Then neither. Several nearby observers lost consciousness. Others dissolved into unstable light before reforming. One simply vanished from existence. The shadow looked at the battlefield. Every living mind felt it. No language. No sound. Only unbearable attention. Human ships immediately changed formation. Not to attack. To protect. I could not understand. Protect whom? The enemy? Us? Themselves? The cadet carrier, now little more than a burning skeleton, accelerated again. Straight toward the shadow. Impossible. No sane organism approaches an apex cosmic predator. Humans did. Of course they did. I confidently reached another conclusion. The cadet intended glorious suicide. That matched every previous observation. Humans always advanced. Humans always sacrificed. Humans always solved impossible odds with courage. I finally believed I understood them. I was wrong again. Cadet Mira did not charge the shadow. She intercepted the wound. The shell had left a glowing fracture hanging in space, invisible to every species except our gravimetric instruments. It stretched across millions of kilometers, growing wider every second. The shadow was entering through it. The cannon had not been designed to destroy fleets. It had been built to seal reality. The first shot had failed. This one was the repair. The carrier drifted directly into the fracture. Warning sirens erupted. Every remaining human vessel transmitted the same order. Hold the line. Not win. Not destroy the enemy. Only hold. Coalition officers protested. None understood. Neither did I. The fracture expanded. The shadow reached through. Stars dimmed. Time staggered. Entire squadrons aged decades within seconds. Others reversed into pristine condition. Cause and effect collapsed. The cadet loaded another shell. There should not have been another. The ammunition bay had been destroyed. Yet one remained. Hidden. Reserved. She smiled again. I hated that smile. It belonged to someone who had already accepted the answer. The carrier entered the fracture completely. Its hull vanished behind impossible light. Only the cannon remained visible. One final transmission reached every fleet. It was not from an admiral, not from a hero. You were all watching the battle. A pause. We were watching the door. Only then did I realize the truth. The humans had never arrived late. They had arrived exactly on time. The battle had always been secondary. The real mission had begun centuries earlier. Every human war involving that weapon, every impossible maneuver, every reckless sacrifice, every battlefield had hidden another fracture, another wound, another door. They had been fighting something the rest of us had never known existed. Not for conquest, not for glory, not even for survival. For everyone else. The cannon fired one last time. The fracture collapsed. The shadow screamed without sound. The stars themselves trembled. Light returned. Time steadied. Gravity remembered its purpose. The battlefield was empty. The cadet carrier was gone. No reiki. No escape pod. No final signal. Only silence. Coalition force slowly regrouped. Enemy survivors did not attack. Neither side could. For several long minutes, thousands of warships simply drifted together. Former enemies. Former allies. All staring at the same patch of empty space. Our victory records declared Vasca 9 a coalition triumph. History celebrated brilliant strategy. Superior tactics. Exceptional command. History lied. I corrected the archive myself. This time it stayed. One sentence. Nothing more. Never mock a human cadet. Because if humanity sends a student, pray the teachers never have to come.